Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coffee with Coaches podcast. If you could see me right now, you could tell I'd be smiling because I today have the honor to talk to Jessica Corvo. Jessica is an American with Chinese and Italian roots, a sub-12-hour Ironman triathlete, has lived in 5 countries, and is a survivor of 2 attempted murders. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit at least. These days, she's an executive coach, focused on resilience, to the surprise of no one, a fitness instructor, and a professional dog walker. Jess believes that health is simple and sustainable. And quite frankly, in what's probably my favorite coach's tagline I've ever seen, quote, Jess makes questionable decisions to help you make better ones. That tickled me so much when I read that. Jessica, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's an absolute joy to share this space with you.
Awesome. Let's begin at your beginning. I like to think of this as almost a superhero origin story, which in your case might be borderline literal. How did you become a coach, or maybe becomes the wrong word? How did you discover that you were a coach, and how did you move into coaching as a professional pursuit, as a career?
Okay, there's 2 sides to this. So being a career athlete, you're always part of teams, you're always, helping other people, they're always helping you. It's an extremely supportive environment, and everyone benefits when everyone is at their best. So I think in terms of what am I made of? It's part of my DNA. In terms of my very first coaching practice, this is a funny story because I was kind of floundering around. I was in Singapore. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I was training for Ironman. I was putting together partnerships, strategic partnerships between the private and public sector. And it was my first time pitching, not attached to a company. And I realized that a lot of gentlemen were not being gentlemen. And they were taking my invitations for pitching more on the personal side rather than professional. And so I decided, okay, what is the common thread? People are unhappy because if your house isn't in order, you try to go externally. And my first coaching program was literally helping people reconnect with their partners. I was like, I'll sit here and I'll talk to you. No problem. You're going to pay me and I'm going to help you reconnect with your wife. No problem. Clearly that was just dipping my toes in the water, and it was more because I wasn't as strong with boundaries. I was very good at building things, but I didn't know how to not alienate people by just having a firm no. So from that, I kind of took a year off. I went and I got a whole bunch of coaching certifications, figured out exactly what type of coach I wanted to be, and then that's what really started my intentional inner work, to confront my story of domestic violence, to confront, my overachieving. Am I doing this as a coping mechanism, or am I doing it from pure joy? Why am I intellectualizing? All sorts of things kind of connected, and taking that journey from head to heart. And then from that, I realized that my strength is resilience, and why not coach that to other people?
It sounds so simple when you say it. I mean, obviously the journey to that realization takes as long as it takes. But I love that you arrived at just identifying if you had to pick one word to describe yourself and the value, like the core of yourself, and what maybe, of course, would then follow that you have to offer the world. Resilience sounds like it fits like a glove, quite frankly.
100%. And it's also interesting because once you take the journey from the mind to the heart, when you intellectualize resilience, it's the ability to bounce back from something as quickly as possible. Once you make that journey all the way into the heart, it's not about bouncing back, it's about receiving. And so as you get to receive, you get to internalize and attach different types of stories to different experiences, which helps you navigate a little bit more gracefully.
I love that. It's not even really a pivot exactly, but just that word receiving. It's such a powerful word in the context of resilience. Oh man, that concept alone I could talk about with you for hours. But speaking of receiving, maybe receiving your coaching, let's talk about your coaching practice today. Who do you coach and how do you coach them? Is probably the short version, but do you focus on one-to-one coaching? Do you do a lot of group coaching or team coaching? Do you do any like broad, like presentation, keynote speaking kind of stuff? And then also, who do you focus your coaching on? Is it pretty broad spectrum? Anybody who has certain identifiable characteristics or certain desires that align with your coaching? How's that all work for your practice?
So all of my coaching clients are executives. The reason why is because what you can do in one part of your world, theoretically, you can do in all parts of your world. Unfortunately, a lot of executives have made sacrifices to become an executive, and they're not applying it to other parts. So for me, working with high achievers or working with this caliber person, they already know how to apply different concepts to self. So it makes it a lot more efficient and effective.
Hmm.
And so I guess another way of saying that is I only work with people one-on-one. We don't do group work. Fitness, we do group work, but in terms of coaching, that's one-on-one because we go at rapid speeds here. And then because thanks to pandemic, I was actually able to do quite a lot of master classes and guest speaking events, which kind of segued into corporate programs. So one of my offerings is also 3-month corporate programs.
Awesome. I like how I like that focus on we go fast, we go deep, you know?
100%, 100%.
Oh, I love that. So, I mean,
They know what questions to ask. So if you come to somebody who doesn't really understand, say sports is an easy way to talk about concepts. If
yeah,
you're looking to go start running, starting to run versus going to marathon versus going into triathlon are 3 completely different depths of running.
yeah.
And if you're, as much as I love people that just want to start out for running, that's fine and great. I'm not that type of coach. I'm going to refer that out to somebody else.
Yeah.
So when they're ready to go to the triathlon level, they already have a base level of knowledge. They already have base training. They already know how to kind of like apply, and then we hit the ground running.
No pun intended. No,
Exactly.
I love that, and that's something I definitely have talked to some coaches who have that very much as their focus, where it's not just about finding everyone who they could possibly help. It's about understanding when people are asking the right questions that they have the answers to. That's like, okay, it's not that you're like they're ready for you necessarily, but it kind of is, where it's just like you have to have a good, I don't know what the word would be exactly, but it's a good match between the questions that are being asked by this person and the skills and intention this person is bringing and the coaching that they need at that moment. Like you're saying, someone who's just like decided as like a New Year's resolution to start running, that's fantastic. I've got a half dozen people I can connect you with right now. And then, 2 dozen more beyond that if you don't find the right fit. Finding the fit is so important because really I find that people are often not rowing in the same direction sometimes. Like their intentions are pure, but perhaps not fully realized yet, I think is the way I might put that. And I just love that you have that understanding and emphasis right there at the front door of your coaching practice. It's awesome.
It makes it easy, especially in concept of some coaches will teach you habits, building strong habits and building healthy habits. For me, I'm going at a deeper level and asking, what is your intention behind doing what you're doing? Are you doing this to avoid something? Are you doing this to process something? Is this considered a healthy tool for you? Do you know how to stop? Do you know how to shift it? What are you getting from it? That's a little bit different.
And a little bit more uncomfortable too.
Oh,
in,
100%.
in the right way,
I
in
am
all the right ways.
100%. People do not like working with me. They work with me, but they're just like, this sucks. I'm like, yeah. But then at the end of it, they're like, thank you.
I love that. I want that. I almost want that like on your LinkedIn or something like that, where it's like you won't like working with me, but you'll be glad you did. Something like that.
100%, 100%.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm feeling greedy about your time. I would love to keep talking with you about everything, but I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about what's coming up in like the next year or so, like what's around the corner or happening right now in your coaching practice that you're excited about, and then make sure we let everybody know where to find you, where to connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been talking about doing an online course for the past year plus, but because of the pandemic, World 2.0, I've just kind of been, I guess, floundering around a little bit, going with the flow, doing my first pivot was doing corporate wellness programs instead of my course. And then I decided to take a little bit of a break. So I took a 3-month break from active coaching. I only work with people 8 weeks at a time, and you cannot work with me for 9 weeks or more. Like is not a possibility. And so from that, I'm really excited to finally finalize my online coaching because the course will allow me to reach more people and at different levels so they can kind of do the course on their own. It's not going to be, you know, a very long one. It's pointed topics that you can apply, actionable items that you can apply, and then you get on with it. And then if you want to hire me for one-on-one, my price point is going to be a little bit higher, and that's okay. But it's because it's competing with my adventures with puppies and teaching fitness, because those are my two main points of joy at the moment.
Oh, it's lovely. I love that drawing it as a competition. It's like, hey, if you want the one-to-one coaching with me, you gotta compete with the puppies. And let me tell you, it's a rough competition.
100%. One of my personal training clients, so funny. She was looking at some of my pictures with my dogs, and she was just like, "What do you love about dogs?" And I said, "They're honest." She's like, "What do you mean?" He said, "When they're excited, their butt wiggles when they greet you. They can't control the excitement. If they trust you, they look at you when they poop. And if they don't trust you, they won't go to the bathroom. If they don't like you, they're gonna stand back and they're gonna like tug on the leash and everything." And she's so confused. She was like, "Do you want me to wiggle my butt when I see you?" And I said, "That's not that's not what I meant."
I mean, maybe, but that's not what this is about right now.
But you can't, there's no price point when you find things that bring you joy. There is no price that can pull you away from it. Like, these are important parts of my world. And as much as I love coaching and I love being able to empower people, I think this next chapter is going to be stepping away just a little bit more to really kind of help and empower people, at the same time honor what my heart needs in this chapter.
Obviously, I want to keep talking, but I couldn't think of a better way to end it. That's the perfect note to end on. It's jessicacorvo.com is your website,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're on LinkedIn. Is LinkedIn where, like, is that your favorite place to kind of connect with people? I know you hate social media, but obviously we make our compromises where we have to, I suppose.
Absolutely. So LinkedIn is the only place that I am active with engagement. So if people make posts, if people want to kind of, you know, get into my mind, or, you know, have some exchanges outside of a coaching capacity, I do sit in comments and I do post.
Excellent. Okay, man, I'm tearing myself away. Jessica, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for talking with me. This has been so much fun and insightful. And I'm going to have a number of things to sit with and meditate on and allow to wash over me over the next day, 2, 10, 100.
Absolutely. Keep going. Just remember that no matter where you are, it's exactly where you're supposed to be.
Even better way to end it. Thank you so much. Thank you to the audience for listening. We'll talk to you again soon. I'll probably try to have Jessica on again just because it's just too good. It's just too good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.